My expectations when we brought Soxie to the ranch today were I hoped that he would not buck anyone off or trample anyone in the arena. The bucking problem has gotten to where I will not get on him. I didn't realize this horse was that sensitive to something around his flank. I was a little worried about the girl getting on, and then when he bucked with her, it concerned me a little. I thought, oh no, I would have come off the horse.
What was causing the bucking problem was several small things all added up into a big problem.
I'm Clinton Anderson, and I have a method for training horses. Getting horses to behave is simple. It's training people that's the real trick. Join me as I tackle some of the most challenging situations with problem horses and with problem owners.
My expectations when we brought Soxie to the ranch today were I hoped that he would not buck anyone off or trample anyone in the arena, and that we maybe could get started on a better path and correct my errors in training the horse.
G'day, mate. What's your name?
Mike Chan.
I'm Clinton Anderson. Good to meet you. And?
My wife, Julie.
Julie, good to meet you here, Julie.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you very much for coming here to the ranch at Downunder Horsemanship here in Stephenville, Texas. Tell me a little bit about the horse you brought and the history of him, why it's a problem, why you need our help. Give us the whole story, mate.
This horse, since the day he was born, I was very drawn to by his personality and his looks, and I was very, very close to this horse from the day he was born.
Julie Chandler's attraction to Soxie, a 5-year-old paint gelding, is unmistakable. Most days, the two are inseparable.
We call him Soxie because he has knee socks on his feet, but I trained him on groundwork and the fundamentals without a saddle, and he's really responsive, very touchy and responsive. Okay, though, to deal with. He learns quick.
Unfortunately for Julie, Soxie has been too quick to learn a bad habit that has interrupted their relationship, a habit that has become downright dangerous.
I can saddle him. That went well quickly, the training on saddling and unsaddling, tying, and so forth. Then I started lunging him at a gentle walk, and that was okay. And when I started asking for a trot or a canter or lope, he starts crow hop bucking. The bucking problem has gotten to where I will not get on him.
So far, Julie has been unsuccessful in her search for a solution to the bucking problem.
I paid for a trainer to take him, and he kept him 3 months, and as soon as I got him, I did check on him, and he was riding him a little bit, apparently not enough, because as soon as I brought him home, started lunging him before I would get on him, he was bucking as bad as he was when he left. I've never done anything on his back except stand up in the stirrup, both sides, lean over the saddle at a stand, and he's fine, a little nervous. I won't throw a leg over him because the minute I start to, he gets high-headed and bows up.
With her frustration level rising and her spirits falling, we sent a rough stock rider to investigate Julie's problem.
What I saw when Travis was riding him was what I kind of expected, that it was his normal crow hopping. I don't want you on me, I don't like the saddle, I don't want to have to do what you want me to do. Well, this horse has awesome conformation and a very smart mind, and he's sweet-natured and he wants to learn, but I don't want to be scared of him. I think he'd be perfect horse for me in my middle years if he gets over this bucking where I don't feel like I'm going to come off and get hurt.
You know, as a general rule, most people that have a horse that wants to buck, it's a reactive type of horse, and it's not using the thinking side of its brain, it's using the reactive side of its brain, okay? At this point, what I suspect we need to do is get him a lot more respectful, get him thinking, and get him used to the saddle, and we'll be in good shape. Okay, this is the culprit right here. Well, he certainly hasn't missed any feedings, has he?
No.
He's nice and big and fat and slick, okay. What's his name?
We call him Soxie.
Soxie, okay, this is the culprit. So you've left the saddle on him for a couple of days and he still bucks when you go to lunge him, is that right? Okay. So have you ever tried to ride him or?
I have not tried to ride him. I've had people come and ride, guys that have come to our ranch.
And what happens when somebody comes to ride
He
him?
repeats the same behavior.
Okay, so when they get on him, he actually bucks when they get on him too. Okay. Right, Evan. Okay then, well let's get him in. How old is he now?
5.
5-year-old.
5-year-old. And how many guys have you had come out to your ranch to try and ride him?
3 or 4.
Okay, and does he ever quit bucking or he just keeps bucking non-stop?
I think he
He
stopped
stopped.
with the
He'll
men.
finally quit bucking.
Right, okay, right, Evan. Well, let's head to the round pen, mate, and let's get started with him.
Step up your horsemanship with the Clinton Anderson method. Now available in a complete set. Fundamentals starts you on your journey to ultimate control. As you learn to communicate with your horse, earn his trust and respect, and gain control of his body. Intermediate opens the door to ultimate performance as you build on your knowledge to create a safe, willing, and supple partner you control with a feather-light touch. And now, all new, Advanced, delivers ultimate inspiration to fine-tune your application of the method and reach the highest level of horsemanship. Clinton Anderson offers you the ultimate collection of his wildly popular training method kits at a packaged price.
I started with the groundwork is because I wanted to form some sort of relationship with the horse. I wanted to know what he knew, so to speak. I wanted to form a communication between me and him. Plus, it gave me an indication of how he's been previously handled. You know, how good was he? How bad was he? Is he in the middle? So it gave me kind of a starting point from there. So then it was a lot easier for me to communicate with him once I got the saddle on. Rightio. Let's go and do a little lunging for respect stage 1. Okay, I want to be able to send him away from me and then bring him back. Basically what I'm trying to do is gain the horse's respect by moving his feet forwards, backwards, left and right. Point, move. I would like a lot more of an energetic departure. When we say go, we mean now.
To use the Clinton Anderson halter and the knots that are across the nose make him uncomfortable enough that when I tug, when I turn his head to flex him and he doesn't gently turn his head, I need to put more pressure on those knots.
If I notice he doesn't stop straight away, I'll bump or jerk on his nose to get him to stop. Watch, I step, bump. He's kind of ignoring me there. I'd like to sharpen that up just a little bit to where when I step in front of that drive line, that string on his neck, a little better, he stops immediately. Here. Step in front. Step in front. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and yield his hindquarters. There we go.
Today he did start back at ground zero real quick with him, and I realized I was not expecting enough of the horse. With his flexing and the way he was flexing, he was snatching his head around, which was a disrespectful thing, and I didn't realize that till I saw Clinton quickly get that out of him by getting onto him a little harder and firmer.
I'll show you how to fix that. See, I don't like it when you release his head, he just tries to snatch it back. So I'm gonna go ahead and bump on him here, jerk on him a little bit here. Bump, 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 bump. Bump, 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 bump.
Immediately I saw a change in the way Clinton handled him with that flexing. Yeah, Soxie picked it up quick. He's a smart horse, I do think. He's got the willingness to learn. He just has to be required to learn, and I wasn't making the requirements.
Now you might say, well, what's this got to do with the saddle? Well, you say that when he goes to bucking, you try to redirect his feet and try to get him to stop, but you can't quite get him to do it.
Correct.
Well, off the top of my head, by feeling him and working with him, I'd say a lot of that's because he's not really taking you seriously.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying that when I do it, he's gonna quit it either, but that's why I'm going out of my way to get this a lot sharper. So if he starts to buck and I say, hey, don't do that, redirect your feet, I want him to think his life depends on it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Where I no disrespect, but right now I think he kind of thinks, oh well, she's not really that serious. Yeah, I'll do it, but hell, I'll do this tomorrow too.
Right.
Check out our latest catalogue from Downunder Horsemanship. It's filled with beautiful imagery and in-depth information on all the products used in this show. Visit our website or call this number and we'll send it to your door free of charge.
Okay, mate, what we're gonna do now is I've got my long line, which is a 23-foot piece of rope with a 2-inch ring on the end, and I'm gonna go ahead and put this around his flank and see if we can't desensitize him to the pressure around his belly, okay? Because when I put the rope around his belly, I could tell straight away that that's really where the majority of your problem is. It's not necessarily the saddle, he just doesn't like that feeling of something around his flank.
I didn't realize this horse was that sensitive to something around his flank. I thought I had desensitized him and I hadn't.
So I'm gonna go ahead here and lunge him off. Okay? And then I'm just gonna pull on that.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's it.
Once I'd realized the horse had a very reactive reaction to the rope around his belly, around his flank, then I knew that I had to get the long line and put it around his flank, because I could do that from a distance where he could buck and kick and he wasn't going to kick me or hurt himself. So, and not only that, I wanted to be able to get him moving forward and feeling the pressure around his belly, which is kind of what simulates what you do with the saddle. When the saddle's on, he had to get to moving out. Pick up, new side, new brain. He's thinking about kicking at it. Really what was causing the bucking problem was several small things all added up into a big problem. Number one, he was pushing disrespectful. Number two, he was reactive about pressure around his flank. Number three, he'd already got into a habit of bucking with the saddle because he wasn't able to wear the saddle enough in a wide open area to where he could really get to move around with him. And number four, when he did go to buck, he wasn't made feel uncomfortable enough for doing that bad behavior. I needed to teach him that anytime he feels pressure around his flank, don't kick at the rope, don't buck, don't use the reactive side of your brain, okay? So that didn't surprise me that he did it, but what I did like is over, 5 or 6 minutes of me practicing, he got to where it didn't bother him at all. Then I knew he was ready for the saddle at that particular point because we prepared him. Now, normally when I saddle a colt for the first time, if I go to buck, I don't mind, I let him, okay? But they only get one for free. But now, because he's been saddled many times, he doesn't get to buck for free. So if he starts to buck, I'm gonna try to redirect his feet and, give him something else to do to try to change that habit now. When I first started moving him off, I could tell he was a little tight, but he wasn't quite sure if he needed to buck. He was thinking about it, and then eventually he did try to buck a little bit, and then I kind of bumped on that halter and jerked on him and got his attention back on me, and then he gave it up. Here. Now, notice when I jerked on him 2 or 3 times just then, I was pretty firm about it, wasn't I?
Yes.
And the last time I jerked on him, he quit bucking at that point, didn't he? And he started what? Focusing him back on me. Yield. I knew at that point that I could make him feel uncomfortable for wanting to buck. Okay, so that way he didn't really want to do that again. Okay, so that went pretty good. At that point, I knew we had him, under control. Now, when I ride a colt for the first time, I always have 2 people in the round pen, one riding them and one on the ground, because we're a team together. The rider is just going to basically be a passenger. The person on the ground is the person that's going to do all the work. We're the ones that are going to make the horse go forward, turn, all that kind of stuff. I just want the horse getting used to the rider and the feel of it. So if he won't move, she'll bump him with the stirrup. If that doesn't work, she'll knee him in the belly. If that doesn't work, she'll kick him under the belly, sometimes people get upset when they see you kick a horse in the belly. What do you think a human that weighs 140 pounds, 50 pounds can do with their foot compared to another horse kicking them in the pasture?
That's right.
It's not even close, but sometimes people get upset about it. Okay? And we're going to get halfway on, and then she's going to rub him, she's going to move the stirrup a little bit, she's just going to let him know that she's up there. And then she's going to hop back down again, and then step back up there again. So that's approach and retreat. Does that make sense? Yep. We're not interested in bucking him out. We're not interested in a rodeo. We're interested in him learning something that's going to help this horse. Radio. Hop all the way on now, Brittany. Then when she gets on, she's going to immediately start flexing him from side to side. We're not going to walk him off or go anywhere. She's just going to flex him from side to side. There. So by flexing his head like this, I want to show him that Brittany's got some control of him here. If he went to buck or bolt or do something silly, she's going to bend his head around. Now, I love that. See how he's licking his lips there? Yeah. That's a good sign of relaxing. Okay, now we're going to start moving him around. So Brittany's going to hang on to the horn. And we're going to move his hindquarters. Now his forequarters. Hindquarters, open the door, forequarters. That's the girl. That's the girl. Take your time. Now forequarters. Take your time. Hindquarters, forequarters. Good girl. Hindquarters, forequarters. Hindquarters, forequarters. Hindquarters, forequarters. Hindquarters. You're right. Just take your time. All right, just wait till he stops and flex in. Take your time. Open up the door. Righto. Now start rubbing him on his neck a little bit there, Brittany. Bend him around. Bend him around. You're right. Good girl. Bend him around. Good girl. Just like that. Now, move his feet there. That's her.
I was a little worried about the girl getting on, and then when he bucked with her, it concerned me a little. I thought, oh no, I would have come off the horse, but you know, I learned how she handled him as soon as she got his control of him.
When the horse started to buck with Brittany a little bit, my first reaction was to step out in front of the horse and shake the bag and get that horse's attention. And at the same time, Brittany kind of eventually got a balance enough to where she could bend his head around. So the two of us kind of got him to stop at the same time. Excellent. Yield his hindquarters again, Brittany. Yield. Out. Let him go. That's it.
Clinton had Brittany keep herself busy, so she wasn't nervous and tense on the horse. I found that interesting, and I definitely need to do that. She was rubbing the horse with the rein in her hand as she was loping. That gave her something to do and transmit her calmness to the horse.
I felt like today we had him under control, where myself and Brittany, my apprentice, we could handle the horse and give him his first ride. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have put somebody on him that was a beginner or somebody who didn't know my method. But in 3 or 4 days of preparation and groundwork, you probably could, but I didn't feel like we could do that today.
I think she'll be able to ride the horse and take it to the next level of training is where we're trying to go to. Our factor was that we wanted to be in a safe position to take it forward. And I think now that we understand a little bit more on the program, that we could probably take it to that level.
The good news is he's very salvageable, but I don't want to give you a bunch of fairy stories that you're out of the woodworks just yet. You know what I mean? He will go back to bucking again if you don't handle him correctly and get the right riders on him and follow this method. So now when you go home, you're going to keep practicing with him, okay? And the next horse, you're going to have a lot more success with. You know, you've been following the method, but you've had a few detours, haven't you? You know what I mean? You've taken a few wrong turns, but that's okay. That's part of learning. Now you're on the right track. Get the colt starting DVDs, the fundamentals kit, you know, 6-7 days a week, work with him, and I think you'll be in the right shape.
Well, we appreciate it.
No worries. It was a pleasure meeting both of you. Wonderful horse. Well, guys, I hope you've enjoyed today's show. I've certainly enjoyed bringing it here with you today and working with this young horse. Again, it doesn't matter what your horse's problem is. If you follow the Downunder horsemanship method, you can get extraordinary results and pretty much fix any horse in the world. Guys, let's go and get a drink. Thanks again, mate. Thank you. If you'd like more information, mate, on any of the products you've seen on today's show, click on our website at downunderhorsemanship.com and we'll send you a free catalog, mate.